Hello and welcome to another Coaster Crazy video here on YouTube. Yes, it's another one of the top 10 series. This time it's top 10 UK parks. I'm not going to do separate ones for theme park and amusement park. I'm just going to put it all in one because I know so much. Well, I had a few comments on the last one about the wooden coasters. Why didn't you include hybrids and all that? I should have put it as traditional coasters, really, traditional wooden coasters. But this one is a mixture because there's so much variety in the UK. We've got a lot of theme parks and amusement parks. In fact, there's probably more amusement parks than there is theme parks in the UK. We've got so many seaside amusement parks. There's a lot of little ones that are obviously not on this list. I'm going to focus on my personal experience of said park that's going to be in the list. It's probably going to be pretty, there's got to be a proper trend to this. A lot of people probably know what my top park is anyway. I've got the t-shirt for it on already anyway, so that's a bit of a giveaway. But yeah, the other stuff that's in the list, you might not think it could be in this list. Anyway, yeah, so it's a top 10 UK parks today, and a lot of people have been asking for this one. I've got a few notes written down just to the side, that's why I keep looking over there. But before I get into it, I've actually changed this room around a bit. I've cleared some space. I've actually got a massive piece of wood just over there on a table. And the reason for that is for the next project, I was actually sent a huge parcel by a fan of the channel. I couldn't believe it when it turned up. Ian Hambleton, big fan of the channel. He asked for my address. I'm a bit reluctant to actually give it out, but he got me this massive, huge gift. It's going to be another Lego build. Some of you might already know what it is, but I don't want to say too much yet because it's going to take a while for me to actually build the thing and actually film it as well. So I've set up a little space for it. And the other thing is as well, what I'm actually filming on, I bought myself a proper little tripod to actually film this, because the other setup I had was just let me get this out of the bag anyway. I ended up buying one of these little GoPro shorties actually, which is one of these. I should take the case off it to show you. Basically, this wasn't cheap. GoPro stuff, if you know about GoPros, they're quite expensive anyway, but I wanted a tripod, just something I could mount somewhere and use my hands. I didn't want to use too much stuff like boxes on top of each other, that sort of thing. Anyway, I bought this from Amazon, and it's an official GoPro shorty. It's a little extension pole which doesn't go very far at all, really. It's pretty pathetic, if I'm honest. And the bottom opens up so you can actually stand it on something, but that's literally it. So when I was doing my other top 10 videos, I actually had a chair with a washing basket, and that sat on the top, and it was so close to me. So I ended up getting a proper tripod, which is what the GoPro is now sat on. It's pretty much actually it's at its full height. I think it goes to like 41 inches or something like that. It's got an extension pole that pulls out of it, and it's a proper tripod. So this is what I got, and the stuff that you get in the bag, it come with, in the box should I say, it came with a bag, so that's quite cool. And GoPro attachment, obviously the GoPro is attached to it, and actually a phone mount as well, so you can connect a phone to it as well. So it's a 3-way tripod. It's got 4 seconds to set it up, quick releases, rubber grips. It's not bad. So this was £22 on Amazon, I think. Like I said, the GoPro short, it was a bit more expensive. The stuff that GoPro do is really expensive, and I mean, even like the build quality is not amazing. But anyway, you didn't click on this video to see tripods. You came to the video to see the top 10 parks. So yes, let's get into it. So like I said, I've got it might be a bit of a long one actually, because I've got 5 notable mentions at the end and 2 parks that I think needed to be mentioned, but are not in this list because they don't exist anymore. They closed down. The list, I think it was a bit tricky to actually put together because I know what my top park is anyway, but it's getting those Merlin parks and getting them in an order to a standard that I would think would be quite comfortable to put them in. Like I said, it goes over experience, like times we've had at the parks, the actual rides they've got, maybe like they've got better theming or a better layout, or the actual size of the park as well. So I'll go through them. Obviously I've got a few more little notes, like the year when they opened, the amount of coasters they've got, the places of where they are and that sort of thing. So let's get straight into it at number 10. So number 10 on this list is it's a park I actually really like as an actual theme park. I think it's in a beautiful location. The park itself's very clean, very tidy, looks great at certain angles. It's got a little zoo attached to it. It opened in 1949 and it's Drayton Manor, which is in Staffordshire in England. It's home to 4 roller coasters. One of them was sadly taken away, but we'll talk about that in another video, which was G-Force anyway. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, and yeah, they took that out, so we won't talk about that one. But yeah, it's Drayton Manor. I think it's a bit of a funny one. I mean, it's quite low down in the list, really, compared to some of the other parks that are in it. I'm not sure with this one. It's a funny one because it's got some really nice rides, but then rides that are a bit like, again, it's one of them parks where, I mean, I've said before, there's you can get a theme park and it'll never be perfect. There'll be some amazing bits to it, but there'll also be some bits that need updating or changing. For instance, they've got a couple of dark rides there. One was like a pirate boat ride. I don't even think I ever went on it, but it's just sat there. It's been like that for a long time now, and I don't understand why the parks have these rides that are closed down. Either get rid of it and put something else there, or rework it and open it up again. The zoo that they've got there is really good, but I think the main draw to Drayton Manor is obviously Thomas Land. I think it's really good. It's one of the best family themed areas in the UK, if not probably the best. But it's going down a route of more to the families. I mean, it's got the staple coasters like Shockwave, and well, they had G-Force. The other one's Accelerator, that was Ben 10, and you got Troublesome Trucks as well. But some like the rides that they've had, they're okay. They've obviously had the problems in the past. Obviously, I don't want to go into detail with that. If you know, you know. But yeah, Drayton Manor, it's a funny one. It's a park that I actually wanted to get an annual pass for, but we didn't really bother. They started up using the car park as an upcharge, where it used to be free. It's got a really nice hotel as well. I've never stayed, but it's not a bad park. I just wish it was a bit better than what it is. So yeah, number 10 on the list is Drayton Manor. So number 9 on the list is a park I've been to quite a lot. I love this park, and again, it always goes down to experience for me. The fact that obviously I'm a theme park vlogger, I love going to parks anyway, and it's always a highlight when you're able to actually film on the rides. I know it's not a massive problem of going to a park, but as a theme park vlogger, it helps. You always got the POVs to go with the vlog. It always helps, and obviously I can use those as a separate video afterwards. Anyway, this park opened way back in 1918. It's actually I think it's the oldest one. Yes, it's the oldest one on. No, it's not actually, but it's the oldest sort of theme parky style park on this list. 1918 it opened. It's in Essex, and it's Adventure Island, that's home to 5 roller coasters. I love this park. It's so colourful, it's so bright. The staff are really good. There's some really good classic rides there, some homemade rides as well. In fact, a lot of their flat rides are built in-house, are actually built by the park themselves. Like I said, you're allowed to film on the rides if you email ahead before you go. And I just think it's a really cute park. It's in Southend-on-Sea as well, so you get some fantastic views of the surrounding area of, well, the sea anyway. The rides are really good, the coasters are good. It's home to Rage, which is a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, which is one of the best in the UK in my opinion. I just really enjoy this place. It's got the crazy golf attached to it as well. You can get some nice ice cream, and it's just a really nice, fun park. It's great at night as well, with all the lights come on, and they do like a separate ticket for the evening time where it's a little bit cheaper. Obviously, most of these parks as well, you book online. The ticket prices are cheaper. But no, I've always enjoyed Adventure Island. It's a park that's open up most of the year. In fact, it's got adventure inside as well, which is one of the only sort of indoory sort of type places. But it's mainly just got kids rides in there with the kids. What do you call it? Play sort of park in there. But no, it's not a bad place. Is Adventure Island more of an amusement park than a theme park. But yeah, I really enjoy this one. I've always had a great time there. It's not too far away from where we live now, and I just thought it should be on the list. So number 9 is Adventure Island. So number 8 on the list. It's in North Yorkshire. It was opened in 1959. Again, it's another one that's got a zoo. I think it's more famous for the zoo rather than the rides, and it's Flamingo Land in Yorkshire. It's home to 9 rides at the moment, well, 9 roller coasters at the moment. They've actually built one, but it's not down on the roller coaster database yet, as well, they haven't named it or anything yet, but you know about it, then you'll know. They've just installed a huge investment for the park, which is a 10 looping roller coaster built by Intamin. It's the reverse B model of Colossus that you can find at Thorpe Park. I can't wait to get on it. I think it probably would have been opened if obviously with the current situation happened. But no, I really like Flamingo Land. To say it's in Yorkshire as well, I used to live in Lancashire. I never actually went when I was younger. It was more the case of I had the YouTube channel that I thought, well, I need to go out and get the footage. I wanted the credits anyway, because like I said, it's got 9 roller coasters, well, 10 if you include the new one. It's just massive. I haven't even seen most of the zoo, in fact. It hasn't got many dark rides or anything like that. It's just the coasters. It's very open park. There's not a lot of shade or anything like that. But it's also got a couple of coasters that are a bit not great. Hero's one of them. But no, it's just the fact that it's got some really good coasters there. Kamali's great. Velocity's great. Mumbo Jumbo's pretty decent. You've got the zoo. It's just a nice big park. The staff are really friendly. Again, you can film on the rides without even asking. As long as you've got a GoPro, chest-mounted GoPros, you're all right with that one. Like I said, it opened in 1959, so it's quite an old park as well. I've only been a few times to this park, but I quite like it. It just needs a bit more covering. I've said that in the vlogs. It's just when it's a nice hot day like it is today. It's just baking hot. It needs a bit of covering there, but yeah, I quite enjoyed Flamingo Land in Yorkshire. So yeah, number 8 on the list is Flamingo Land. So number 7 on the list is a park. I love this park. I couldn't put it any higher. It just, I don't know. I could have put it higher, but I just don't think it was right to put it higher on the list. It opened in 1987. It's in Pembrokeshire in Wales, so some of you probably know what that is already. But yeah, it's Oakwood theme park. I love Oakwood. I really do. I've been there many times now. The highlight of the year is the European Coaster Club meetup, where you can get the hours ERT on Megaphobia in the dark. But that's one of the main reasons why I like the park, is Megaphobia. It's one of my top wooden coasters in the UK. I just really enjoy the park. It's not the biggest or has the biggest and best rides, or it's just the fact that it's there. It takes forever to get to. I think that's probably why it's a bit lower down in the list, because the distance of going there. Sometimes when it's very quiet, the atmosphere is not great. You end up walking around on your own for quite some time with no one around. But that's a good thing. It's good to go to parks that are quiet, because you can get on more rides. Again, you can film on rides with the chest mounted GoPros, but you've got to go to reception and get it signed off first. You can't just go on the ride with it. You need to have it checked off. But yeah, it's home to 5 coasters. So you've got Megaphobia, Treetops, Speed, which again is another good Gerstlauer roller coaster, Gerstlauer Eurofighter, and then you've got like a few kids rides and things. But the theming's pretty good. You got like an Alice in Wonderland themed area. You did have a James and the Giant Peach themed area, but I won't go into that one because they had to retheme it pretty quick to something else. So it's more of a spooky theme area now. But no, just enjoy the park. It's got some good rides there. You got your bobcat thingies as well, the toboggans, which are always pretty fun. Again, like I said, it's never really that busy, but because it's in Wales, you're never too sure what the weather's like. Really good nighttime shows in the summer as well, with the fireworks and lasers. They do this paint party thing as well, so it's a really good park. The manager's great as well. He really puts his heart and soul into this place. But yeah, number 7 on the list is Oakwood in Wales. So number 6 on the list, we're getting there. It's opened in 1996, which is technically the newer park on this list, but originally used to be a safari park. It's in Berkshire, in England, home to 3 coasters, so it's probably got the least amount of coasters of all the other parks. But I really enjoy this park. I love Lego, so Legoland Windsor had to be on this list. So yeah, number 6 is Legoland Windsor. It's a really good park. It's not. I think it's one of those ones where people go, oh, yeah, but it's just for kids. But it's not. If you're a fan of Lego, then you'll love this place. It's got some of the best views you'll ever see in any theme park. As soon as you walk in through the turnstiles and the archway, you know, the big Lego sort of structure, and you walk to the end of the pathway there, just next to the shop, the view of what you see there is incredible. Like, you can see Windsor Castle, you can see Heathrow Airport in the distance, you can see London. It's brilliant, really good. But it's not just the views, is it? It's the rides, the atmosphere. Again, it's always really busy. It's dead easy to get to. The car park's pretty much straight across from the entrance. Again, it's an upcharge, but it's not too bad. If you've got an annual pass, it's free. Hasn't got the most amount of coasters. Like I said, it's only got the 3. Just opened a brand new one, which is the Dino Duplo coaster, which is really cute. It's I just think it's a really nice park. I've always been a fan of Legoland Windsor. Not been there massive amount of time, but I've been there long enough to sort of say yes, it's a top 10 UK park, and it should be on the list. Again, nighttime shows and Halloween events, Christmas events. This park does it all. It caters for the whole entire family. You don't need kids to go. You can, like I said, if you're a fan of Lego, this is the place to go. If you're not, then you probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. But yeah, number 6 on the list is Legoland Windsor. So number 5, we are halfway through this list. Like I said, there's a few more notable mentions and things. We've been going about 19, nearly 20 minutes up to now. So let's get cracking on. So yeah, number 5 opened in 1931. It's in Greater London, home to 4 coasters. It's Chessington World of Adventures. Again, this was a hard sort of one to put in the list, really, because it's one of them parks where you can go and it's absolutely rammed. You get on a few rides. It's only got the 4 coasters, so it hasn't got the biggest amount. So, like I said, small amount of coasters. You know, people go for coasters, which means if it's busy, you're waiting in line for a long time. I just think it's a really pretty park, though. They've got they've got the mixture there right. This one you can't film on the rides because it's a Merlin park. Also saying that Legoland you couldn't film on the rides as well. Sometimes you can film like dark rides and things like that, but this one's a pretty much no. But no, I just really like Chessington. It's got the zoo as well, so again it's another zoo park. In fact, I think there's about 3 on this list that are zoo parks, which is it's always a nice bonus, isn't it? You know, it's always a nice extra. So yeah, I mean it's pretty much famous for having the coaster, which is Vampire, the old Arrow suspended coaster, which has now got Vekoma trains on it. That's pretty much what it's famous for. Then it had Bubble Works as well, which is now the Gruffalo, which is a really nice indoor water ride. You've got the Safari Park ride. I think it's Kilimanjaro Safaris, something like that. I forget the name of them. Probably got that wrong, and you've probably got a comment in the section below. But it's got the little safari ride. They've just taken out the one of the flat rides. Again, I forget the name of it. And they put in a new drop tower for that. They rethemed the log flume that goes through the tigers. So it's quite a nice park. The theming's really good there. Good for the families. Again, it's quite easy to get to. It's just, like I said, it's near London. The car park's not that far away. There's not much more I can say about it, really. I just think it was slightly better than the other parks that are in there. You know, I think the theme is great to it. The rides are pretty good. It's not the best park in the world, but it does the job. So, yeah, number 5 is Chessington World of Adventure. So number 4 on the list, and I love this park. What can I not say more enough about this park? But yeah, it opened in 1983. It's in Hampshire, and it's home to 5, technically 6, sorry, because they've just built one, and we should have been going. Well, we should have been to the media event, but obviously it was cancelled. But it's Paulton's Park in Romsey, and oh god, I mean Paulton's Park's brilliant. Again, we've been here quite a few times now. Been a few times where we've met up with friends, and I just love this park. I just think it's really good. It's probably the nicest, cleanest theme park I've ever been to in my life. But I couldn't put it any higher than the other 3 that are in front of it. But Paulton's is amazing. Home to Peppa Pig World, which is pretty much what it's famous for. But I think the downside to Paulton's is the fact that people go, oh yeah, well it's Peppa Pig, you know, it's for kids, and but it's not just Peppa Pig World. It's got the Lost Kingdom, which is the really good dinosaur themed area, which I think is probably one of my favourite family themed areas in the UK. It's home to 2 brand new coasters there, 2 Vekoma coasters, a family suspended and a family boomerang. They rethemed all some of the old stuff that were already in there as well. It's got some really good animatronics. The landscape in this place is some of the best in the world, in fact. Not just of Lost Kingdom, the whole park is stunning. You've got these hedges that are so straight as well, it's just brilliant. But the rides are great. Like I said, there's soon to be 6 when it opens. The new area, which we should have gone to the media event for, which is Tornado Springs. It's home to a Mack spinning coaster and some other themed rides. It just looks brilliant and it's so good. I think the only downside to this one is the fact that it's so far away for people to get to, because it's right on the bottom end of England, right on the south coast of England, but it's free parking. You can film on the rides with the chest mounted GoPros. Again, you don't need to ask with this one. I just think it's really good. I just think it's brilliant. It just needs some more dark rides, probably a rapids or something like that, permanent rapids or something, and maybe a wooden coaster would be good. But as it is, Alton Park is brilliant, and it's number 4 on the list. So number 3 on the list, and we're getting there. Just bear with me more. Number 3 opened in 1980. It's home to 10 roller coasters. It's in Staffordshire and it's Alton Towers. Now, a lot of people will go, "Oh, that's my top park in the UK," but for me, it's all right. It's got a couple of decent rides. It's got some nice theming, but I think the massive problem of layout and the way the whole situation, how it's been built, like the fact that you drive in to Alton Towers, which is in the middle of nowhere for a start off. If you've never been, you'd be driving for miles and you're like, where is this place? You can't see it because it's so hidden in the little village of Alton. But it's got some amazing coasters, and I'll go on a bit more about the layout because I don't know why I skipped them, but I did. But you get to it and you're just driving for ages before you even parked up, and then you've got a monorail system, which is, if you get there pretty early, there's queues of people waiting to get on the monorail, which takes you to the entrance of the park. Now, what I don't understand is, why didn't they build the car parks closer to the entrance? I just don't get it. It's probably the only park that I've been to that's like that, other than maybe the Disney parks in Florida, but they're massive anyway. But Alton Towers, yeah, I think that's probably the only downside for me, is the fact that you queue up for the monorail, or you can walk and it can take 10 to 15 minutes to get to the entrance. And then the park's so big, you're walking around for ages. But like I said, the rides are really good. Nemesis, one of the best coasters in the world, isn't it? It's brilliant. You've got Galactica, which was air. The Smiler, the world's first 14 looping coaster. You've got Reedsay, you've got 13, you've got Wicker Man, you've got Spinball Whizzer. Like I said, 10 coasters of this park, and it's not bad. You've got some good rides, a couple of decent indoor rides, Jewel and Hex. It could do with some more, and it can do with some water rides. It's just the spacing of the place, it's so big. They could fit so many more flat rides in there, because it really hasn't got any flat rides at all. It's a bit of a letdown in that respect. If you're into your flat rides, then you go to the park that's next on the list, and you'll see why this is a better park. But yeah, number 3, I can't really say much more about it, because it's a park that's been up and down over the years so many times. It used to have shows, it doesn't have shows. The Scarefest event that they do is really good, but the last time I went, I didn't really enjoy it. Most of the times I've had a good time there, but it could be better. But yeah, number 3 on the list is Alton Towers. Right, so number 2. Right, 2 more to go. And you could probably guess what number 2 is if you figured out what number 1 is, which isn't that hard to figure out. But number 2, it's obviously Thorpe Park. A park that opened in 1979, so it's 41 years old this year, and the reason why I know that is because it opened on my birthday in 1979. It's in Surrey. Again, it's near London, and it's home to 7 roller coasters. Hopefully it should be home to more coasters, because it needs it. It's got so much space to build more. But yeah, Thorpe Park, why is it higher than Alton Towers? Why do I think this park is better than Alton Towers? Well, straight away, you don't have that massive walk at the beginning of the day. You don't have to drive for miles before you park up. As soon as you get to the park, which is quite easy to get to as well, you just come off the M25 towards Staines, through Staines, into Chertsey, and you're there. It's so easy. It's probably one of the easiest parks to get to, especially if you live in the area anyway. But you get into the park and you're straight onto the car park. Once you've parked up, you're pretty much straight into the park. You cross a bridge, you're in. Boom, happy days. The layout's pretty good. It's not too big. You can get round the park within a few hours, and you know, if the park's quiet, you can pretty much do the whole day. The whole park in half a day. It's got the 7 coasters, so you've got Nemesis Inferno, the B&M Invert, you got Saw the Ride, Colossus, Swarm, which is my 3rd favourite coaster in the UK. It's got some water rides, it's got a few dark rides. One of them is not great. Damn right, it's close to right. But it's better than, in my opinion, it's slightly better than Alton Towers. In fact, it's probably pretty close. It's pretty much level with Thorpe and Alton Towers. It was a hard one to do, but in my opinion, I think it's slightly better. Just because of the layout and the parking situation's better. But as an actual theme park, it's a bit of a mixed match. It's got its good bits and its bad bits. And the hotel's not amazing compared to Alton Towers and some of the other places as well, because it's basically a shipping container with some rooms in it, which is something they could work on. And again, it could do with a massive Woody or an RMC or something like that. But anyway, it's a good park. I enjoy it. It's not far away from where I live now. In fact, it's probably about 40 minutes away. But yeah, number 2 on the list is Thorpe Park. Right, so number 1 on the list is obviously Blackpool Pleasure Beach in Lancashire. It opened in 1896, so it is the oldest amusement park, theme park, whatever, on the list. This is actually an amusement park. A lot of people get that wrong. It's not a theme park, it is an amusement park, and it always has been. I love Blackpool. As you probably know, you watch the channel for a long time, you will know that I've been to this park so many times, not even just on the vlogs, in the past as well. My family used to take me there all the time, so like a weekend treat really was to go to Blackpool. I really enjoy it. It's home to 10 coasters, 4 of which are wooden coasters, and yeah, you got the addition of Icon a few years ago now. I've got the t-shirt on. Home to the big one, which is the UK's tallest coaster. I just love it. I just think it's a fantastic park, and there's so much history and heritage there as well. And I don't think there's not that many people that don't like Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I know there's probably more people out there that probably would say that Alton Towers was a better park. But for me personally, Blackpool Pleasure Beach is the best park in the UK. It might not have the most modern coasters. It doesn't have might not have the biggest coasters out there. I'm talking sort of like the likes of B&Ms and Intamins and that sort of thing. But the Mack launch coaster, which is Icon, is amazing. Big One's such a classic coaster. You can't go wrong with a classic wooden coaster. It's got some really good dark rides as well, with Wallace and Gromit and Alice, the ghost train, the world's first ghost train, and the river caves as well. It's got a good selection of flat rides. It's got everything you need. It's got the shows, it's got the food, it's got the entertainment, the nighttime firework displays and the late night opening that they've been doing are really good. Again, it's just a shame, obviously, with the current situation that the park's been closed. But hopefully it should open up again soon. But yeah, so that's it. That's my top 10 UK parks. In a minute, I'll be going through my notable mentions. There was a few of them, and there's a couple of classic parks which I think need to be mentioned in this, sort of like childhood parks for me that no longer exist. So yeah, that was it. That was my top 10. Number 1 was Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Right, so a couple of parks that I thought had to be mentioned. I couldn't put them in the top 10 because they're no longer with us anymore. They closed down some time ago. One of them is actually 21 years ago now, actually closed down. Big part of my history growing up. It's Frontierland in Morecambe. It actually was rethemed in 1987 and closed down in 1999. So yes, it's 21 years. It's been closed now, which is such a shame. I miss the park so much, I really do. But yeah, this was a park. There was 3 actually. There was also Southport, and including Blackpool as well, that the Thompson family actually owns. So they own the 3 parks, and they unfortunately decided to close down Frontierland and Southport. Southport closed down a bit later on, I think. But with Frontierland, I just don't think it was making the money for them. And obviously they'd opened up the big one as well, so that cost them a lot of money. And yeah, but Frontierland, it was home to 6 roller coasters, and some of my first ever coasters I ever went on. I thought I had to give it a mention. It was so well themed, and it was such a small little compact park with some good rides in it. And there's a lot of people that had a lot of memories at this place. It had the cable cars that went right across the road and turned around on the promenade and went back into the park again. It had the Texas Tornado, which was a brilliant classic wooden coaster. It had a wooden mouse there as well. It was actually the gold mine. And a few flat rides. It even had a Noah's Ark, the same as what you can be. It was basically a smaller version of Blackpool Pleasure Beach, but themed to a Wild West sort of thing. The other one I should talk about is Camelot, which actually closed in 2012, so actually not that long ago really. And I really enjoyed this park. It was another one that we'd either got a Blackpool or we go. Well, as a family, we didn't really got a Frontierland because it was on my doorstep. It was literally 20 minutes away back, if I walked. But Camelot was one of them that we would go to quite regular as a family, and it was home to 9 coasters, believe it or not. My favourite has got to be the diesel-powered Dragon that was there. It was brilliant, really good entertainment in the park as well. The theming was really good. I really enjoyed Camelot, and it was such a shame when it closed down, like I said, in 2012. Really sad, but I think a lot of people would say that the main reason for it closing was just the competition really in the area. You had Alton Towers and Drayton Manor not that far away, one end, and then obviously Blackpool Pleasure Beach as well wasn't far away. I just don't think it was actually coping with them other parks in the area, and it's just the decline of it really. A lot of people were interested in going there, I don't think, but I really enjoyed it. The shows were brilliant, the coasters were quite good, and there was always something new every time we went back. So yeah, that was 2 parks I thought had to be mentioned in this video. I'm going through my notable mentions now, and there's quite a lot of parks on here. I'd normally do like 4 notable mentions, but on this one I've added quite a few extra. I just think they needed to be on the list, and I needed to talk about them. So the first notable mention is actually Dreamland in Margate. Now, this is a park that I never went to before it closed down. It's home to the Scenic Railway, which is the oldest coaster in the UK. It opened in 1920. The actual park itself opened in 1863, so it's actually, I think it's the 2nd oldest park in the UK after Blackgan Chine. I'm not entirely sure. It could be the 2nd or the 3rd oldest. And yeah, it's got 3 coasters there now, but over the time it's actually had 17 roller coasters, believe it or not. But I had to mention it because of the Scenic Railway really, and every time we've been, really enjoyed it. It's changed so much. Every time you go, there's they've added a bit to it and they've landscaped it, or they've added some new rides. Last year they added 10 brand new rides from Zamperla. There's the coaster and the drop tower and some of the flat rides. It's such a pretty park as well, and again we've had so many, well, we've had quite a few invites to go and film the park with the GoPro, and we went to the Halloween event, which was really good. Screamland, I think it was called. I loved it. It was just such really good fun. But I don't think it's good enough to be in a top 10. But as a notable mention, it's really good. I think a lot of people have not been to this park really need to give it a look. Obviously, when things go back to normal, the scenic railway itself is worth a visit alone. Another park, notable mention, is actually one. I wasn't going to put it on the list, but a friend of mine sort of like give me a little nudge and went, oh, you know, I had to put it on purely because of the couple of last visits we've had at this park. We really enjoyed. It's actually Pleasurewood Hills in Lowestoft. It was a park that opened in 1983. It's home to 4 coasters, and I know the first sort of couple of times that I went to this park, I didn't enjoy it at all. There was rides that were broken and operating, and just not a pleasant park to go to. It was scruffy, it was untidy. I just didn't enjoy it. But the last couple of times that we've been with friends, we've really enjoyed it. And the last time we went was amazing. Again, you can film on the rides with the POV, with the GoPros, which isn't a problem there. So that's a bonus. Car parks, free car parking, close to the entrance, so there's a few perks about it, but it's one of them parks that needs some more rides there. It needs a bit more, you know, and a bit more TLC, a bit more upgrading. I mean, it had Hobbs Pit, which is one of the best, scariest ghost trains in the UK, and they ended up changing it to a family shooting dark ride, so yeah, that was a bit of a loss, but never mind. The Halloween event we did last year was great fun as well. One of the best in the UK, in fact, that we did, and there was only 2 mazes there. So that just shows you a lot, really. So I had to put it in the notable mentions, which obviously is Pleasurewood Hills. Another notable mention I had to put in this because we've actually been to 3 of their parks now, and they're building a 4th in Rotherham. And hopefully we'll try and get out there when it reopens or when it opens. But the 3 parks that they've currently got are the Gulliver's Park. So you've got Gulliver's Warrington, Gulliver's Matlock Bath, and Gulliver's Milton Keynes. They all used to have their own names, like Gulliver's Land, Gulliver's Kingdom, and Gulliver's World. But they just sort of call them the names of where they are now, I think. But I had to put them in a notable mention because we've been to all 3 of them now, and they're really good parks, in fact, especially if you've got young kids. You need children to get into these parks, so you know, we managed to do that, and I really enjoyed them actually. The one in Milton Keynes was alright. There was, you know, they're not amazing parks, but as a whole sort of collection of parks, I think it was worthy to put them down in a notable mention. The one at Matlock Bath is a beautiful little park actually. It's one of the nicest landscaped, but you know, the views from the park is one of the best in the UK. In fact, I really enjoyed Matlock Bath. I thought it was such a unique park. It's built on a hillside, in fact, and it's got a chairlift that goes up the side of it. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, go and check the vlog out. Really good day there. And then obviously the one in Warrington as well was such a good park and so big as well. We didn't actually do everything in the one day that we had there. So yeah, I'd like to go out and try the new park that they're still currently building it, or it should be open soon anyway, in Rotherham. So yeah, Gulliver's Parks had to be on the list as a whole. I thought it'd be a bit sort of mean to sort of leave them out because I have enjoyed them, all 3 parks, but I couldn't put each one as its own thing. I had to put them together. Another notable mention, again, a park we've been to quite a lot. Opened in 1995. It's on to 5 coasters. It's owned by Mellors. It's obviously Fantasy Island. Again, I had to put this down. I mean, I could have done a top 20 list if I'm honest, but it would sort of take away from the theme of doing a series of top 10s really. I like to talk about the other coasters as well, what they've got at the parks, at these other parks. So I thought it was nice to add a few more notable mentions, especially Fantasy Island, home to Millennium, one of my favourite steel coasters in the UK. I love this ride. Odyssey's not too bad as well, the Vekoma SLC, which is the biggest of its type in the world. But the park itself, it's an odd one. The indoor section that they redid is really good, really well themed inside with the mountain and how it's all dark. I just think the atmosphere is really good. But it's just the fact that it's an open park. You can just walk in and out whenever you want. I think it'd be better if it was more enclosed. But there's not really much to say about it really, other than the coasters that they've got. They're always changing the lineup of the flat rides and things that they've got there, and they spent a lot of money on it. I quite like Mellor's stuff. Ice Mountain's one of my favourite sort of spinning indoory type coasters that there is, and what they've got there is really good by the seaside in Inglemells, Lincolnshire. But yeah, Fantasy Island, I sort of had to give it a quick mention. But the last one, and this is the last one, is Breen, actually. Breen theme park, leisure park, whatever you want to call it. But Breen again. I think I had to mention this because of two rides that they've got, and these two rides are two of my favourite in the UK. In fact, Astro Storm, which is a Zera indoor coaster, 4-man bob, which only seats 3 people. Used to be at Blackpool Pleasure Beach at Space Invader 2, one of my favourite coasters of all time, actually. So I really like it. I like going to Breen. It's not the biggest sort of place, even though it says it is. But no, we quite like Breen. We've been a few times to Breen. It's an odd place. It's a small amusement park, like the other ones that are on the list. But the only other reason as well that I really like Breen is because they've got Terror Castle there, which is one of my favourite. I think it is my favourite ghost train in the UK. It's a very small, compact one, but it used to be at Frontierland in Morecambe, so it's a bit of a childhood classic ride. Also with Astro Storm as well, that used to be Space Invader. The other rides that they've got there are okay. There's a caterpillar and a spinning mouse and a few other flat rides and things. But I really liked Breen. I thought it was alright. I just thought it had to be a notable mention because of them two rides, which might get featured in a future video if I keep up with this series. But that's about it really. I've done the top 10. I've done a couple of extra nominations. I've done the notable mentions as well. I don't think there was really much else to talk about, to be honest. But yeah, I like a lot of parks in the UK. There is a lot out there. We're very lucky. You've got to go out there and find the parks that you've never been to before. There's so many small little parks, and so many. Like I said, I could have easily done a top 20, but I thought it might have probably been a bit hard. Although saying that, with the 5 notable mentions and the 2 extras like Frontierland and Camelot, which had closed, I probably could have done a top 15, a top 20 or something like that. But no, what I've done I think is okay. I just want to say you've got to get out there. You've got to try new places. You've got to see these other parks that are about in the UK. We're very lucky that we have so many parks in the UK, especially the small amusement parks and the small fun fair typey places as well. I just think we're very lucky. So get yourselves out there, go and find something new, especially after when things clear up. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one today. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.